Welcome to chemistry class. Our topic today is acid. What do you want to learn under acid? Objective 1. You should be able to define an acid according to Arrhenius, Brustolorix, and Lewis. Objective 2. State at least 3 physical properties and 3 chemical properties of an acid. Objective 3. Explain laboratory preparation of acid with equations. And objective 4. State the use of at least one named acid. When you hear the word acid, what comes to your mind? When you hear the word acid, what comes to your mind? Danger, bomb, hazard, fear. We can have this in our mind when we hear the word acid, but acids are very common around us, especially in our food. We have acid in our citrus. We have citric acid and ascorbic acid, which we normally commonly call vitamin C. In our carbonated sodas, we have sulfuric acid. Our vinegar contains acetic acid. Even our stomach utilizes hydrochloric acid to digest our food. So do you see now that we cannot do without acid? So how do we define an acid? We said we should be able to define an acid using Arrhenius. So how did Arrhenius define an acid? Arrhenius said an acid is a substance which produces hydrogen ion or proton as the only positive ion when dissolved in water. That when you dissolve a substance in water and that substance now have hydrogen ion as the only positive ion, then that substance is an acid. Example, we have hydrochloric acid, we have tetrasulfuric acid, we have trisulfide acid. These are acid according to Arrhenius. Then, how do Brustolorix define an acid? Brustolorix say that an acid is a substance that donates proton. That's how Brustolorix defined his own acid, that an acid is a substance that donates proton. Example, we have barium fluoride, aluminum chloride as an example of Brustolorix acid. Then Lewis defined an acid as a substance which accepts an electron pair. Now, any substance that can accept an electron pair is an acid. And we have example, our hydrozonium ion, our copper-2 ion, our barium chloride, barium fluoride, and hydrogen-3 ion. We now move to preparation of acid. How do we prepare an acid in the lab? 1. Dissolving non-metallic oxide, that is acid anhydride. When you dissolve non-metallic oxide in water. So example that we have here is carbon 4 oxide and water. It will give you hydrogen trisulcarbonate 4, which is an acid. Another method is direct combination of constituent elements. Hydrogen reacts directly with halogens in the presence of catalysts to form hydrogen acid, halogens acid. So halogens are group 7 elements. Elements in group 7 are referred to as halogen. So they can react directly with hydrogen to form an acid. Like the equation we have here, hydrogen is reacting with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride gas. This hydrogen chloride gas now dissolve in water to give us hydrochloric acid. So, method 3. Displacement of weak or volatile acid from its salt by a strong acid. Displacement of weak or volatile acid from its salt by a strong acid. We now look at concentrated tetrasulfuric acid is stronger but less volatile. So H2SO4 can therefore be used to displace weaker hydrogen chloride from a salt. So we have example of this equation. sodium chloride plus H2SO4 to give sodium hydrogen tetrasulfate 6 plus HCl. So this HCl can now dissolve in water to give us the acid we want to produce. So what are the physical properties of acid? The physical properties of acid. 1, they have a sour taste. When you taste unripe fruit, it will be sour. So that it shows that an acid is present. The strong acid are corrosive in concentrated form. Strong acid are corrosive. Corrosiveness means they can actually burn. They can burn our skin, so it's not advisable to play around with chemicals. It's not so you are not expected to be playing around with acid because concentrated strong acid can burn. They are good conductors of electricity. Then acid, they have a pH lesser than 7. All acid, whether strong or weak, they have a pH that is less than 7. So let's now look at the chemical properties of an acid. What are the chemical properties of an acid? 1, when it comes to chemical properties of acid, we have 3 basic chemical properties of an acid. 1, acid reacts with metals to form salt and hydrogen gas. When acid reacts with metals, they always form salt and hydrogen gas. 2, acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. This is being referred to as neutralization reaction. When acid reacts with a base to form salt and water, it is known as a neutralization reaction. Then acid reacts with triazocarbonate 4 salt. Acid reacts with triazocarbonate 4 to form salt, water, and carbon 4 oxide. Acid reacts with triazocarbonate 4 salt to form salt, water, and carbon 4 oxide. So let's take these properties one after the other with equation. 1, we say when acid reacts with metals, it forms salt and hydrogen gas. So example we have here, we have hydrogen chloride as an acid reacting with magnesium as a metal to form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. Second property, second property, acid reacting with base to form salt and water. Acid reacts with base to form salt and water. So example we have here sodium hydroxide plus triazonitrate 5 acid to give sodium triazonitrate 5 plus water. Then lastly, we say reaction of acid with triazocarbonate 4 salt. Acid will react with any triazocarbonate 4 to give salt, carbon 4 oxide, and water. So the example we have here, we have magnesium triazocarbonate 4 plus 2 moles of hydrochloric acid to now give us magnesium chloride plus carbon 4 oxide plus water. Another example, we have sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4 plus hydrogen chloride to give sodium chloride plus water plus triazocarbonate 4 oxide plus carbon 4 oxide. Sodium chloride plus water plus carbon 4 oxide. Strong acid are those acids that ionizes completely. When I say an acid is strong, it means it will ionize completely. Strong acid are the acid that ionizes completely. Example of strong acid, we have hydrogen tetrasulfate 6, hydrogen chloride, triazonitrate 5 acid. All these are strong acid. And when they ionizes completely. And how do you indicate the ionization completely? By just one arrow from reactant to product. Weak acid are the acid that ionizes partially in water. Weak acid ionizes partially in water. As you can see, example, ethanoic acid, it will ionize partially. And the partial ionization is being indicated with front and back arrow. Uses of acid. We have name acid and their uses. hydrochloric acid to remove rust. Tetrasulfate acid as a drying agent, as a dehydrating agent. It's also used as an electrolyte in lead acid accumulator. Your triazonitrate 5 acid for making fertilizer, explosive, and other chemicals. Acetic acid in preservation of food, in dyeing silk and other textiles. Tartaric acid in making baking soda soft drink. Citric acid in making fruit juice. Fatty acid in manufacturing of soap. So here you can see with the use of acid that acids are actually useful. Acids are one of the chemicals that we can not do without because they have a large usage in chemical industry. So question, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to give 3 definitions of an acid. Mention 3 physical properties of an acid and state 3 chemical properties of an acid with equation. You should be able to state, give 3 definitions of an acid, mention 3 physical properties of an acid, and state 3 chemical properties of an acid. I expect us that immediately after this lesson, you should be able to give answer to this evaluation question.